All right. I think we are on. Well, hey, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Welcome to Cooking with Katie. This is episode 4, season 1. And we're super excited about you joining us in the kitchen. We're making some amazing things today. I am also really excited that this Sunday we are going to begin regathering at New Life Church in our building. And so I hope to see some of you and join with us on Sunday. And if you're not ready or you're unable to, we're still going to be streaming online, all of our services. So anyway, hope to see you soon.
It'll be
awesome.
So
what are we making today, Katie Jo?
Well, so today I wanted to make something with some seafood because I have my family in town and my nephews and niece really love seafood. We did a big seafood fry the first night they were here. And so tonight we're going to be making some crab cakes. And to go along with that, we always have to have dessert. So we're going to have a mango pie that's topped with a Swiss meringue. So it's a different kind of meringue. And I love this meringue because it's kind of like marshmallows. It's really delicious. So we're just going to get started with dessert because dessert should happen first.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get started. So, all right, we're going to make
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the graham cracker crust. I love a good graham cracker crust. I just have in my teeny tiny food processor, y'all, I hope you have a bigger one than I do. I just have a half a stick of butter that's softened. I'm going to be putting a sleeve of graham crackers that I just kind of squished. And let's see. And I'm hoping it all fits. I tried it out this afternoon and it did all fit in here. Of course, you have to add your pinch of salt. And I'm just going to pulse that down real quick. Honestly, so I can make room because it's tiny. All right, so to this, I'm going to be adding a little bit of coconut. If you don't like coconut, you can leave it out. I like coconut. This is going to be a mango pie. Coconut goes really well with mangoes. So I'm going to be adding, I don't know, 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of coconut into this and grinding that up.
So I'll tell you, if you're thinking, like, I don't know if I necessarily like mango that much to make a whole pie out of it, this is an amazing pie. It is not it's not super sugary or honestly, even like super mango-y. Is that a word?
Mango-y.
That's a word. It's really, really good. I was when she had made it, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I was a little suspect. So
what does that mean that you're a little suspect?
I was wondering if I was going to like it, and I did. I liked it.
Well, you should.
Well,
because I made it. Yeah, it really it's a very light flavor. The coconut is a light flavor. There it goes. All right. Easy as that, your coconut graham cracker crust is done. And I'm just going to be pouring it into a little tart shell. You guys can put this in a regular pie shell. But I feel like the tart shell just makes a nice little presentation. Do you want to do the honors?
You show me and then I'll do it.
Okay. So I just take a little flat bottomed ramekin and I just start pressing it down gently and it will go up the sides on its own, but just trying to make it even. You should do it because you don't know how.
So I just press it down?
Yep.
Okay. And then what do I do when it comes to the edge?
Well, so it'll start working its way up the edge.
Just by itself? Is it alive?
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and you can see that this side's a little higher than this side, so you're going to make it even.
Okay. I got it.
See?
I got this.
Got this.
Now what?
You just keep going. You got to get it all the way up the sides. So just start pushing it towards there gently. Because if you push it too hard, you're going to get cracks all in the bottom of it, and that will be a mess.
You wanting to do this?
Nope.
Am I not doing it right?
No, you're doing great.
It doesn't look like it's quite flat all the way.
It's okay. It's homemade. That's what gives it character and charm.
There you go.
See?
I didn't do it right.
No, it's good, honey. It's like when a kid does something and you need to like rewash the dishes after they're done or something.
So Jen Leach already asked a question. She said, "Did Courtney go crabbing today for tonight's recipe?" No, Courtney's always crabbing. If you know what I mean.
That was not nice.
She's my sister-in-law.
She's my sister-in-law. You shouldn't say that, and I shouldn't laugh. That wasn't nice. Courtney's actually an incredible cook, and she's going to actually take over for our next show. So it's going to be great. And little Lauren is sitting right here waiting for her piece of pie. Right, Miss Lauren?
Yeah, she's excited. Okay.
You guys, we're going to just stick this in the oven for maybe 10 minutes. You just want to brown it just a little bit before you put your custard into it. So we're just going to put this in the oven for, I don't know, 10 minutes. We're going to bring it out and put the filling right in it when it's still hot. So, oh, thanks. Look, I have an assistant. It's so great. So I'm just going to make the filling. This is similar to how you would make key lime pie or something like that. So you're going to start with some egg yolks. This is the easiest custard you'll ever make. You don't have to temper the eggs or anything. So 4 egg yolks, just start beating them up. And you're going to want to get them until, you're going to want to like whip them up until they're about, I don't know, like light yellow, probably, 2 to 4 minutes, just nice and light yellow. I actually got this recipe off of Pinterest. I think we posted the link. You guys can find it at the website. It's definitely not my own recipe. And I thought it was delicious. I've already made it twice. So I actually made it for Jen Leach's and Susan Costa's birthday. And I think they liked it. And I definitely thought the crust was the best part, that coconut. So 2 of the egg yolks. Now that they're nice and light and creamy, I'm just adding a can of sweetened condensed milk to the egg yolks. Pretty simple, guys. This is one of those recipes like anybody can do this. And you could even buy a pre-made graham cracker crust. That's not going to make that big of a difference. Okay. Here we are. Okay, so once that's incorporated, I'm just going to juice like half a lime into this because this is going to sort of bring out the flavor of the mango, and it's always good to add acid to your cooking. So that's just one of those things. If you have a recipe and you need to add acid, do it. It'll just make all the sweet that much sweeter. And then I have mango puree. So the recipe calls for mango puree. You can find that at like a health food store. You can find like a can of it. I'm not that healthy, or I don't have that much money. So I made my own. I just took a couple of mangoes. I got a jug of mango nectar, boiled it down, pulverized it, and it's kind of like mango baby food. I'm putting 3/4 cup into this mixture. And it really is so good, even by itself. Look at that. Sous chef, it's happening. That is good. Okay, and guys, that's the filling. That's all there is to it. So I'm just gonna wait just a minute for that graham cracker crust to finish baking, and then I'm gonna put it right into my pie shell. But I do want to tell you, Justin and I wanted to tell you this week about a little adventure.
All right.
That clearly you're needing to take up. He's the storyteller.
So
I'm just the chef, but clearly he's one.
So,
I'm gonna wash these.
So we're going on almost 20 years of marriage, and when we were honeymooning, we actually honeymooned up the coast of Maine. When we, I had a surprise halfway through our time and on our honeymoon that we were going to go on a hot air balloon ride. Well, it didn't work out. The weather wasn't right, and we weren't able to go and all that kind of stuff. So we ended up not going. So 20 years later, this past year, I got another 2 tickets for us to go up on a hot air balloon ride. So when was it?
Tuesday.
Was it Yeah, a week ago, Tuesday. So we the problem first and foremost was that
we survived.
We did survive. And you're gonna think like, come on, you're being a little melodramatic. We almost died. Okay. This was a serious deal. We the first and foremost, they only do sunrise tours. And that means that, because we live in Maine and we're the first to see the sun rise, it means that we had to be there at 5 a.m. and in North Salem, New Hampshire, which is like an hour and 15 minutes away. So we had to get up at 3:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning, leave at 3:30 to get there. So
I'm just gonna.
You can keep going.
Oh, okay.
So
good. No,
we get there and it's so cool. If you've ever been hot air balloon riding or that is on your bucket list,
do it.
Anyway, it was really cool, big, huge balloon. We blew it up and you get up there.
I got to hold it when they were inflating it.
It was really, really cool.
I thought it was going to take off with me. I'm putting this into my pie shell.
There you go.
So I'm just going to dump it in, y'all. It's just like this. It's so easy.
Now that pie shell has to be cool before you put it in, right?
Nope. This pie shell is hot and it's going to help it cook quicker. So back into the oven for another, 15, 20, 30 minutes. Of course, I don't know. Isn't that great? You got to cook your
Follow the recipe.
I don't know. Follow the recipe from the website if you're one of those people. Okay. All right, finish your story.
So when we first took off, it was really cool. I mean, you're kind of like, you're literally floating, but we're with 4 other people and Tony, who is the pilot. And so Tony. And so there's 7 people in a wicker basket. That alone for me was a little disconcerting, but we go up and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. We're like floating.
Well, there was a debate as to whether or not we should go up.
Okay, so it was really, really kind of crummy outside. It was very foggy. And Tony the whole time was asking us questions like, you sure you guys want to go? I mean, it's not going to be that
Tony,
nice out.
You're the one that's done this 3,000 times.
I don't know. I've never been on one of these things. He's like, well, we could do a treetop thing, I'm like, is that normal? I don't know. What do we even expect, Tony? And Tony's like, all right, well,
okay, we're going to start the meringue.
Go.
Sorry, friends. I know Justin he's a pastor, and so he can kind of go on and on.
I know.
Okay, so you know how we made the meringue for the coconut cream pie? Just whipped up until we had the stiff peaks. So that's a French meringue. We're doing a different meringue. There's French, there's Italian, and then there is Swiss. And Swiss is my favorite. Swiss meringue, you cook the eggs in a double boiler, and the foam is really dense, and it tastes like a gosh darn marshmallow. It is so yummy. What you can do then is just pipe it directly onto your pie, and then you don't have to cook it in the oven. So I've got my 4 egg whites that did not go into my custard. I'm going to put them. I've got my double boiler here. This is kind of my ghetto double boiler. It's literally a glass bowl on top of my pot. I'm going to put these in. I've got about 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And I have, of course, cream of tartar, because cream of tartar is an acid. And so you have to add the acid to the egg whites in order for it to become stiff. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to sit here for, it's probably going to take 5 to 7 minutes of whisking this on this eye. And you're going to want to get a candy thermometer, or so I have a little thermometer like this. I'm going to want these egg whites to get up to somewhere between 140 and 160 degrees to make sure that they're cooked. And I usually finish it off in my KitchenAid mixer because it's a little bit more powerful, but it will whip up and become really stiff. And that will be the meringue that will pipe onto the pie. So what I'm going to do for the sake of time is I'm going to give this to Justin.
I get all the good jobs.
Yeah, and I actually have some meringue already done in the fridge. And I'm going to show you how to pipe it on to the pie, torch it so it looks pretty, and we'll finish off that pie for you guys. So I'm going to grab that out of the fridge, and I'm going to grab the pie. So here we go. This is just a torch that Justin bought me at Walmart. I don't really have a kitchen torch. I just have you know, the hefty one. That happened when I went through my creme brulee phase, if anybody wants to know how to make that. So I have my piping bag full of Swiss meringue. My sister might correct me later. I always start in the middle and then work my way out. So I'm just going to give myself just little dollops, pressing from the top of the bag.
They're like marshmallows. They're so good.
It literally is like marshmallows.
It actually tastes a lot like marshmallow.
I know, yeah, the texture of this, you guys are going to be like, I don't care about the rest of the pie, just give me the topping.
That's very true.
So I'm just going to go around and fill this in. It's going to look real pretty. It's really not difficult. You guys, if you've never piped anything, like this is not a skill set that I have. So just going to continue. Oh, I've got a couple kids here now. Twisting from the top of the bag. And then maybe just coming through on the edges. Okay. And usually, I just want to cover all of it. You can't go wrong. And then usually if you have a little left over and you've got a little kid sitting here, you give them just a little bit. What do you think? Travis? You want in on this? No, he says no thanks. Not sure if he wants to be in on the show. He can have some in a minute. This is where the torch comes in. Justin, how are those eggs coming?
Still at 100 degrees.
Okay. So I've got my torch and I'm just going to come through and I'm just going to want to create some brown edges from where the piping bag made those nice sort of like crinkles, and it just makes it look really pretty. I told Justin, you're probably going to freak out because the tips of these kind of look like they're going to catch on fire, and they sometimes do, but that's okay. It's like a burnt marshmallow. Guys, aren't eggs so cool that you can do this with them? And take a look at this, guys.
It's so good too.
And that's it. That's the pie. It's done. Isn't that marvelous? And Lauren, would you like a little bite? Yeah, she's saying yeah. All right, Justin.
You want to check this real quick?
I'm going to check that as you continue our story.
All right. So we'll take this. So
Yep.
all right. So we go up in the balloon, and he's like, "Yeah, it's not. There's a lot of fog. I usually don't go up when there's a lot of fog." He's like, "Sometimes it either like dissipates, burns off, or it builds up." And we're like, "Oh, I don't know, Tony. What are we doing, Tony?
Tony?
It is 5 a.m. I've been an hour and a half drive. Are we doing this or not?" And he's like, "You guys all want to do it?" We all vote. Yeah, okay, Tony. So we start going up, and it's beautiful, but there is like a lot of fog over our heads. And we come up over, and we're over Canopy Lake. If you've ever been to like Canopy Lake Park, so we're over Canopy Lake. And he's just talking. He's got his shtick, you know. He's like playing some music for us and stuff.
He was singing.
He's all like jolly, like he's done this thousands of times. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, so we're up over Canopy Lake, and I look down. I'm peering down over this basket, and I said to Katie, I'm like, the water is coming like really fast towards us. And she's like, oh yeah, well, yeah. And I'm like, no. And I said to everybody in the stupid basket, I'm like, hey guys, the water is coming really fast towards us. And all of a sudden, Tony goes, oh no! I'm not even kidding you. Tony turns on both of the fire things that shoot like 20 feet in the air. He's like,
yeah.
And I'm like, is this for real? Like, is this my life right now? And we slam into Canopy Lake. I mean, I'm talking completely submerged up to our shoulders in a wicker basket in the middle of Canopy Lake. We're like, oh my gosh. And Katie's in the front. She's like trying to get out. We're going to like swim for our lives. And he's like, don't get out of the basket. Don't get out of the basket.
I tipped and you were kind of behind me and I thought you were going to push me under. We were up to our chest.
Literally. So finally, after like probably like it seems like an hour, but it was probably 5 seconds of him like firing that thing up, we start coming out, and all the water drains out of the wicker basket. We're literally standing there 5 minutes into our hour-long trip.
Grateful that it was wicker because
soaked
it drained.
From head to toe. We're just like, what in the world? He's like, oh, it's never happened. Come to find out, it's happened 3 times. But anyway, it's never happened. And it happened last night. But it's never happened. And so we're like, this is ridiculous. All right.
We were soaking wet from like here down. It was crazy. So you guys, come on over. Sorry, I interrupted the story. I'm just showing you this Swiss meringue. So I just took it out of this bowl. It was really, really warm. So make sure you use some oven mitts because I tried earlier and I dropped it all over the place. So you just whip this up, continue whipping it up, and it just begins to form this beautiful, I mean, look at that. It's shiny and it's, you know, clearly standing on end, and that is your Swiss meringue. You can place it in a piping bag. If you don't have a piping bag, you can always just place it on your pie. You don't have to torch it, just whatever. So, just wanted to show you that. Was there something you wanted to add to the story?
No, that's fine. We can move on to the next thing. I can tell more in a little bit.
He can tell more in a bit,
There's more.
guys. Don't worry. There is more. There is more.
Okay.
All right, crab cakes. This is the next bit. I'm gonna move the pan over to the hot eye. So, I love crab cakes. This is my version of crab cakes. I don't know if it's the right version, but I've got about 10 ounces of crab meat here. I like lump crab meat because it's got bigger chunks in it, but you can mix it with a little bit of the special crab meat and it'll bind together. So if I do a combination most of the time, I have some finely diced red bell pepper, about 1/3 of a cup. I had to measure all this out last night, you guys, because I have no idea. I just throw stuff in. I have a couple tablespoons of chopped capers because I like a little sour in my stuff. About a cup of panko breadcrumbs. That's going to bind things together. Oh, you want to give me the mayo? A couple eggs.
This?
Nope.
The regular mayo?
Yeah. A couple eggs in here. I'm going to do some lime juice. Yeah. You can squeeze a bunch of it down in here. He's going to squeeze a bunch of mayo down in here to make it nice and creamy.
You tell me when.
Oh, you're going to have to continue on that.
This is how she cooks. So just tell me when.
I put something in the recipe, guys, I promise.
You said like 2/3 cup.
Okay, 2/3 of a cup. So, no, that's not enough. Yeah, let me have it. Okay. I'm going to salt this. I like to do a little bit of sriracha. Obviously, if you don't like things spicy, you don't have to, but I like to put a little bit of sriracha in here. Garlic powder or granulated garlic, you can do about a 1/4 teaspoon. I, of course, just shake it over the top. Justin got after me last night when I was trying to write the recipe. So I like 2 different kinds of paprika. You don't have to put paprika in there.
At all.
Some people don't think that paprika actually has a flavor because they've only had undeviled eggs. Paprika is awesome. So this is Hungarian half sharp paprika. It's really spicy. It's a nice substitute for like cayenne pepper because it's not quite as crazy. I don't know, 1/4 teaspoon, couple shakes. And then a smoked paprika. That's going to be a sweeter paprika. A couple shakes of that.
That was not a couple.
It was
like 8.
It was
each.
You know,
Yeah.
It's all ish. You can't really mess up crab cakes, really, guys. It's crab and breadcrumbs and mayo and eggs. So you're just going to mix it together, kind of like you would a meatball or anything else. These they don't really form into anything solid like a burger. They are very flimsy, so you have to be really gentle when you're cooking them off. But one trick that I have is once I make the patty, I do then dredge it in breadcrumbs, and I feel like it just gives it a little bit more sustenance. So that's the crab cake itself. So just get it nice and mixed in. And with this, you can make about 10 crab cakes. They're, I don't know, about a third to a half a cup. You can make them small. You can make them large. I've made them like meatball size before. So you just want to pat it into a small circle. Not too thick, not too thin. And then I've got a bowl of just plain panko. And I'm just going to dredge it in that plain panko. It'll give it a nice crisp and it'll help keep it together. And then I just make all of these off at once because then when I go to fry it off, it's...
You heat the oil up?
Yeah.
To what?
Yeah, so you're going to want to get your pan kind of hot. You don't want to ever fry anything in cold oil because it just is going to absorb the oil. So make sure that you've got a pan going that's, you know, on medium-high heat with a little bit of oil in the bottom. You want enough oil to coat the bottom because you're frying these. Because like any good food, it's fried. So back to the hot air balloon ride, friends.
Right. So...
As I finish these off, because
so at this point in the game, I do not trust Tony at all. Like any trust that I had in this man, it's completely gone. So he's like, whoa, we're gonna have to get up above this fog, and I'm like, you think? So we get up above the fog.
It really was very beautiful and peaceful.
It was terrifying. We're literally, it looks like we're above the clouds because all you can see underneath you, like 20 feet below you, is just fog, clouds everywhere. Everywhere. I'm like, this is how we're gonna die, and we're just gonna.
It was really
going.
stunning.
And then the sun and nothingness.
It looked like heaven, you guys.
So we were in hell for like probably 10, 15 minutes, and then he's like, "Well, it doesn't look like it's gonna burn off. It looks like it's what is it? What was the word? Accumulating.
It's building up.
It's building up. I'm like, this is getting worse. I think this is the worst thing I've ever done. And so he goes, well, we're gonna have to go down into the fog, which was quite honestly the most terrifying moment.
Actually, that was the one moment that I think I got a little nervous.
This moment lasted like 5 minutes. So we're in the middle of the fog. Once you get into the fog, I mean, we're already soaking wet, mind you. I have no trust in this man. And you cannot see 5 feet in front of you in either direction, above you, below you, beside you, anything. You can't see anything. And yet we're falling because he's not giving it any of the fire. So I'm like, this is how it's going to end. Like we're going to hit a tree and then, you know, they'll tell stories about us one day.
We were floating there.
So we're going down.
Oh,
and
you're telling that part.
What part?
I was saying we were floating there and Justin was real nervous.
I was shaking.
He's looking all around. You can't see anything.
Tony was looking everywhere. Tony was like looking around. He turned the music on. Tony was sweating, man. It was bad.
He went silent.
Tony went silent.
Tony did go silent. And so you know it's bad when Tony goes silent because there's no music or singing.
No more fun. No more joy.
Fun and games because Tony.
Imminent death. That's all that was on anyone's mind. So we're going down and I start hearing birds chirping.
So I looked over and I was thinking, surely Tony has some instrumentation. Like, surely he has something that's telling us the altitude, the altimeter.
Yeah, that's a word.
That's amazing.
Something. Show me some dials or something here. Nothing. What did he have?
He literally had 3 massive propane tanks and a GPS.
That's it.
That was it.
That's
and a cell phone.
And a cell phone. So I started hearing birds chirping and I'm like, hey, Tony, you hear those birds?
They're all around me.
Tony doesn't say anything. Tony's just like, oh, yeah, got this. And I'm like, Tony, those birds are really close right now. I'm feeling like we're in the middle of a forest ready to hit a tree at any moment because these birds are so close. And then finally we got down, so we barely were hitting trees. Barely hitting trees. He's like, hey, don't touch those pine cones. They're sappy this time of year. I was like, you are horrible. This is a horrible experience, and I am paying for this. Yeah. So anyway, all right, where are we on to next? We'll tell you some more in a second.
So I've got all of these patted out, and I think we could just fry a couple off to show you guys, and then I'll fry the rest of them off and let y'all go. So I'm just. Yeah, so I'm just gonna take a couple of these and put them in the oil. So when you have something that's kind of delicate like this, even if you're frying like chicken nuggets for your kids, if you've got something that's battered, you really don't want to overcrowd your pan because you're not going to get a good crisp. And B, you do not want to be flipping these bad boys back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. They'll completely fall apart. So you really want to leave room between each of them and just let them sit and be patient. It's kind of like when you cook a good steak. You don't want to flip that sucker back and forth. You're going to lose all the flavor. Just leave it and be patient. If you don't have a nonstick, you need to leave it and let that protein sort of detach from your pan, and it will unstick itself. That's another trick.
Unstick itself.
It will unstick itself. So we finally got to the tree line, friends.
Oh.
We finally got to the tree line. We're going to have to let these saute, so we might as well finish the story.
Okay, you can finish it. Go ahead.
Well, Tony radios down. He does have a radio. That was the other piece of equipment. To the guys that are supposedly following us around.
In chase car. They're in a chase car.
Yeah.
They're looking for us. But they can't see us. We don't even know where we are.
He's like, well, we're going to be looking to land here pretty soon. And the wind stops. And there is just nothing but like forest, in which we are literally 2 feet above the forest.
We're just sitting there, like in midair. I look over at Tony. I'm like, what do we do now? And he's like, just wait for the wind. There
was nothing. I'm watching the dials on the propane. Like, gosh, do we have enough?
Are we going to make it?
Are we going to make it?
Yeah.
We did make it.
So
Clearly.
He goes up over this tree. We're like, he's like, yeah, we're literally heading for a tree. Like it is right in front of us, maybe 10 feet in front of us. And we're heading right towards it. And he goes, yeah, we're just going to go up over that tree. And I'm like, yeah, when? He's not giving any gas. So finally gives it gas. We go up over this tree. We land in a church parking lot. Thank you, Jesus. We land in a church parking lot. And he drops it right down in there. I couldn't wait to get out of that wicker basket the whole time. So we're all talking about it. And the chaser guys come and they're like, man, we're so glad that you guys landed in that church parking lot. I'm like, yeah, why? Well, if it wasn't the church parking lot, you'd cross over to the next street over and you'd have to land in the old farmer's field. And I was like, okay. He goes, yeah, last time we landed in that guy's field, he came out with a knife and threatened everybody. We had to call the police and he had to be taken out in a cruiser. And I'm like, this is like a horrific experience. I'm glad that we landed in a church, but this was like, I'm never going to do this again. Katie's like, yeah, I'd do it totally.
I would totally go again, just on a nice day. But he said he wouldn't go with me, so I figured I'd have to ask Esther.
Old right, Farmer John coming at you with a sawed-off shotgun.
Okay, so I am going to leave Justin to take care of these. You guys, if you can see this, you want to have a nice chestnut color on these. And if you've left them, right, and only flip them once, then they're going to all stay together. So they're going to finish cooking off. You might have to add a little bit more oil to your pan as you finish these off. You might want to put the ones that you first start in like a 200-degree oven until
warming oven.
Yeah, a warming oven until you're finished cooking them all off. So Justin's going to finish that off. I'm going to put the salsa together and the sriracha mayo. We're going to plate it all up and be done. That and it's almost done. So
I'll remind you that.
Guys, a homemade salsa is super, super easy. What I have here is I just diced up some fresh pineapple, about 1.5 cups of fresh pineapple. I have a fresh mango. Clearly I like mango. Honestly, y'all could make the pie with peach too if you don't like mango. And you can make the salsa with peach too. So I've got mango. I have in here 1 chopped up jalapeno. I completely seed it so it's not spicy. I take the seeds out. You want to use a spoon to sort of scrape those out. Don't use your fingers. I did that once and then took my contacts out. It was bad. Diced up jalapeno, and I also have some cilantro. So putting that in. I have about 1/3 cup of red onion that's been diced real fine. Putting that in. It's kind of a dump, dump, dump. I've got some salt. And I'm going to cut this lime with something. There we go. Just douse it with some lime juice. This meal requires several limes.
I was noticing that. Every
I
single
love
recipe
lime.
was like half a lime. Juice
I
and
like
half a
lime better than I like lemon. This is the salsa. Mix it around and it's done. And it just adds like such a really, really pretty color. And the crab cakes go really well. It's the sweet, savory kind of gig on that. So there is my salsa.
So you're sure these are cooked when they're brown?
Yep, they are brown and they are cooked.
Okay.
So I wanted to show you the other sort of condiment that you put on these, and that is a mayonnaise. And I wanted to show you how easy it is to make mayonnaise yourself. Now, obviously, you can use a regular mayo. You can add some lime juice, add some sriracha, add a little salt, and you'll have a sriracha mayo. I like to try to make my own. I'm starting with 1 egg. And this might freak some people out because it is a raw egg. There's a way that you can poach it and like make it to 145 degrees, and it's really difficult, so I don't do that. I'm going to add 2/3 cup of canola oil. You can use any kind of unflavored oil. So you're not going to want to use olive oil. A bit of salt, lime. You have to have acid. Some people just add like a little bit of mustard and white vinegar if you're making a regular mayonnaise. And then I'm going to have some sriracha. Now you can do this to taste. I like mine a little spicy. And this is my ninja where I make my fruit smoothies when I'm actually trying to eat healthy. I'm just going to emulsify. So you just continue doing this. It's so loud. And basically, after just a few seconds, what you have is a mayo. You can see it on the, so it's a mayo. Tastes amazing. It's got the sort of citrus of the lime and the flavor of the sriracha. I made some and put it in a squirt bottle. These are super handy for plating up your food and making it look yummy. So let's grab our crab cakes. So I usually like to serve just a couple crab cakes. This one's going to be for Esther. Place some salsa on top or on the side. And then dredge it, if I can get it down. Well, my mayo is thick with some sriracha mayo, and you've got really yummy crab cake dinner with your pie. So friends, this is what we've got for you tonight. We are hungry. We haven't eaten yet, so I'm going to finish these crab cakes off. Next show is going to be with my sister is sitting over here going, I don't think so. My sister makes the most beautiful desserts, and I actually personally would love to learn how to decorate a cake. If I have a 2-tier cake and I try to decorate it, it like peels back on itself. It looks horrible. I don't know what I do wrong. So I was thinking I could have her come on and we would do a dessert only show. She's saying no, but we'll convince her. We got 2 weeks, guys. We got 2 weeks.
Live and then just go at it. Right?
So we can't wait to see you on Sunday. And I hope you guys enjoy the meal.
See you guys later.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
"41 minutes.
Oh, I was feeling like it was going really long.
No.
Here, Esther, sit down and